I've stopped making my original video format for some time. I've went on to analytically review users of DeviantArt. But now, I think it's time to get back in the game.
Hey!
Oh crap.
What are you doing in here? Beat it!
But yeah, I'm back. And because of a certain someone, this video is not featuring Frank here, but instead Chuck Hey, wait a second. What is Bayonetta doing here? I thought my avatar was gonna be Chuck. Didn't I already establish... Oh, right. TOG needed more people to go on the Knocker Parade. Okay, fine. I'll jump on it. What was I covering again? Oh, yeah. I'd like to say for the source that finally got me out of this rut that I did not see the other parts of the video, mostly because of two things. One, I think someone else is going to call dibs on one or two of the other parts of the entire commentary, so I decided to stick with just one part. The second and more important reason to say is I honestly don't think seeing the entirety of the content would have helped this part. And when you look at the source, I'd like to say, granted, the guy did pick a newer bit of content from the dead horse, but from what I've heard about the original video, some of Guptill's gripes here was literally the stuff of satire. Does it really need to be looked at in depth, especially considering that this is good old Guptill we're talking about? I don't know, but this guy sure felt like it.
I don't see such a big deal about heading to your local library or Barnes & Noble and picking out a physical book that requires no electricity and can last for eternity.
I know I have said this before, but I'll say it again. Everything is not perfect. Books have its own flaws too, Guptail. For example, the ink deteriorates over time, and it becomes very difficult to read the words written in the page. And I don't know if this happened to anyone before, but there are books that are very weak. One time I picked up a book, and the pages fell down, like paper fell down, it couldn't support the weight, or other times the paper is too weak and they're very easy to rip, even if you're not trying to rip them intentionally. And as for the library, they don't always have whatever book you want. There are some books that are either checked out, they don't sell a lot of copies, or they just don't have them at all. And picture this, people. If you love to read books, and for whatever reason, you travel around the world too much, what if you wanted more than one book and you had to carry around a huge pile of books and see what kind of book you want to read? It would be a fucking pain in the ass, wouldn't it? The e-reader handles this problem. The e-reader, you can download as many books as you want, and they are cheaper than the physical books. And the book that you're looking for is always there. It's never checked out, it's always there. And let me ask you something, Guptail. Is it better to waste your time walking into a library and waste even more time when the library you're at doesn't have the book you're looking for? Or you would go on an e-reader, look it up, and read the book that you're looking for right now. So yeah, Guptail, counter-argument there. And even you said that books aren't perfect, and they could be broken if you don't take good care of it.
I want to give the guy credit for having a legitimate understanding about the convenience that e-readers are designed towards, and making an argument based on that, but I gotta say, I started feeling like his points were lost in poor presentation right about now. The footage you're watching is actually sped up ever so slightly, and the original segment lasts around roughly 2 minutes. It's not like he's taking his sweet time explaining a highly developed concept either. Most of the points of his here were explained in hypotheticals of sorts. So, in theory, we're getting a pretty poor conversion here of entertainment over time. And we're not quite done yet with this point of his either. Watch.
You see? I find this really funny because before he said,
Technology is not infallible. It's never perfect. It never lasts forever.
I think he should have taken his own advice when he said, grow up and think. Because he certainly doesn't like the future, and I think he makes his own videos without a second thought.
And I'd like to say, I love how he's stating this bit-o knowledge at this point so late in the game. I mean, you do remember, this is Guptill we're talking about, right? We kind of already figured what you just said about him. But anyways, like I was sort of going on about earlier, I think the big thing that feels missing is condensing these ideas into a shorter and better stated manner. Add that and some good jokes to what I'm seeing right now, and hell, it actually could work, but as of now, I mostly see potential that hasn't been fully utilized yet.
But people have streamed movies and rented them off the web to the point where most, if not every rental store in America has gone out of business.
Yes, how dare those bastards! I mean, people prefer to watch movies on Netflix than to go into a video rental store and watch movies. This is nuts!
It's honestly a damn shame for me right now. I mean, I want to give the guy credit for the effort of trying to insert a bit of humor with this imitation, but where was the punchline or point in that? It felt like that imitation of his was just to get a slice of the Guptail satire pie, except there was little of the stuff left and he didn't quite get it on his plate. Wait, did I seriously just compare making fun of a guy to pastry?
Again, I don't see anything wrong with heading to either one and browsing around for a movie.
Do I have to repeat myself here?
Just in case you're a commentator who hasn't had this cross your mind yet, like this guy, pro tip, do not stop and blatantly say, do I gotta repeat myself in a situation like this? Especially if you're asking your source in a manner similar to this. It's not like the pre-existing video is gonna change after the author acknowledges your rebuttal. Guptail's statements are just gonna continue like normal, as if you hadn't said a damn thing. All this does is just add an unentertaining redundancy that's probably been seen all too much before, rather than quickly acknowledge it and move on, or just skip the bits that are unnecessary to cover entirely. Bottom line, you stop it.
Either way, driving is required unless you can get there on foot.
Well, doesn't it depend how close their red box is to their home?
What, now the hypotheticals don't go anywhere? At least when the guy used hypothetical situations earlier, it usually helped state an idea or a point, arguing against Guptail's mindset. I failed to see the point of him even mentioning that. I mean, granted, normally I would not want to see this guy explain something too much at that slow pace of his, but at this point, it honestly feels necessary to make that remark feel significant whatsoever. I wouldn't even compare it to a drive-by point, it's more like a jet flew over before the point could even be made.
Seriously though, this quote-unquote on-demand streaming business has got to stop.
For crying out loud, Guptail, stop being a whiny little bitch and appreciate for the things that you've got in the future. You can't stop evolution. Change is nature. Deal with it. I know there are some changes out there that are unnecessary, but for the most part, change is good, and if there wasn't any change in life, then life would be even duller than it already is.
Don't get me wrong, the guy isn't wrong here, but if anything, these are the most basic points that could be brought up, and once again, he's taken a sweet time making these. If you cover a topic that's old and commonly discussed, it might, just might, work if the video is entertaining, but right now, it just begs a question. Why are you even looking into this? I'm gonna say this right now, even if it's partially the reason why I haven't done this in a while. Unless you have a source you feel confident in commentating on, you probably shouldn't be making the video. Don't make a commentary just to make a commentary, just in case that's what you were doing here.
In a situation like this, the so-called weak should not have to make room for the strong.
I just love this picture right here, where Netflix says, "Give it up, you're too weak for the likes of me," and Redbox says, "Ugh, never."
No offense, but could you do me a favor and not become a dramatic reader in the near future? Thank you.
On the other hand, something like streaming films through Netflix instead of physically browsing for a movie in a store or library isn't more rewarding, it's just easy.
So in other words,
Fuck technology and everything that makes our lives easier in the future. We should all ban these stuff so that our lives will be better, harder, and more repetitive than ever. That should be life. We'll keep doing the same thing over and over and over again till we die in our deathbeds. Now excuse me as I fap to my favorite Rouge the Bat picture.
This is what we're bringing back the Guptail thing for? Okay, I know I'm gonna be here all day if I keep saying that the bandwagon's already gone, reached the Willamette, and was left in a local museum as a relic, but I wouldn't mind bringing the bandwagon back from the grave if it was for more than just some substandard points, a couple imitations, and jokes we've probably heard before. You are a terrible artifact collector, you know that?
like, I would seriously believe that you would use the internet for something important. Forget the fact that you have made some horrendous videos of you showing off your fetishes, making some horrible rant videos, and not to mention embarrassing yourself. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Having fun on the internet.
I want you guys to think about that for a moment. This guy is showing himself getting pissed over an older, commonly discussed subject. It's Guptail, for Christ's sake, in late 2012, and he's pissed. What do you expect? It's Guptail. You know his track record. You know his rants are lackluster. Why is this so seemingly shocking for you? Especially considering his discussion about changing logos and designs in businesses. This is not the guy's first gripe about change, and you ought to know that.
That was the ending of this video. This was hard to sit through.
You're kidding, right? You of all people want to say that a video is hard to sit through? King Tedium here and his noble jester late to the party? Granted, Guptil's videos can be pretty crap. Most of us already established this. But I wouldn't call them hard to sit through, considering he's more straight to the point than you. I'm legitimate when I say this too. This guy here has the same level of entertainment provided by his presentation of ideas as Guptil, accounting for Bible Dude here's bad jokes and all. In fact, I don't want to keep going with this video. I'm ending the footage I'm looking at right here. For a final note, I'm gonna lay some sweet, syrupy irony down for you guys. You know how Regumgate here is talking about embracing the innovation and convenience of tech in the future, like he's trying to make a 1950s ad about the newest appliance?
Boy, oh boy, am I glad I bought a Frigidaire.
Okay, maybe not. But still, even with this constant talk of the future, you gotta remember, the guy's arguing against a Guptil video. Granted, it's his most recent rant, but regardless, it's still Guptil, a guy who's been commentated on more than plenty and discussed to oblivion. He's commentating an old topic of discussion, yet brandishing his idea of the new things of the future like a golden Aztec idol. Am I the only one that found that kind of funny? Either way, I suppose that's it for now. Thank you for watching, and Firebird, sorry about this. Take care, people.